I didn't like the way it separated everybody. And then like I ended up doing Club Shay Shay and I had some things to say, and that stirred some things up with other comedians, and you know, it's just weird, man.
It is weird.
I don't think I hate that it really was nobody business.
Right.
How some of us don't like each other.
Well, I gotta say, as a white comic, it was kind of fun to hear because I didn't know you guys didn't like each other.
I know y'all assumed that all of us hung out, go bars, we buy clothes together. Like, no. Even the kings of comedy buy their suits together.
It's breaking bread.
Hey everybody, it's finally here. My new Netflix special, Home Free, is streaming right now. Right now. And anytime from now until the end of time. Or streaming, whichever comes first. Probably time. Home Free, I'm very excited. I recorded it, as you know, from listening to this, or me, anywhere. I've been talking about it since June. I shot it at the Warner Theater in Washington, D.C. It's super funny. I'm super proud of it, and you should go check it out. Also go to tompapa.com. I've got, I think, about 6 more dates on the books through the end of the year. And then, I think Indiana and Wilkes-Barre and Niagara Falls, a couple places, if you want to come hang out and see some shows, and then pick up some merch for the holidays, and maybe just write me a note about how much you loved my special. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you.
I'm very excited.
This is great.
Yeah, I have been a fan of yours for a long time, but we never really crossed paths.
Same here.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think, you know how I've seen you, but it's like I'm weird. So I think all comedians are weird, which is funny when we're all like when they used to do it, the Just for Laughs Festival in Montreal. It's our basically Woodstock or whatever we call these concert series. Yeah. But we're all weird.
Yeah.
And so that nobody's really, people looking at each other. We're so awkward.
Yeah,
so you just go to the group you know.
Yeah. And there's also the part, you have this too, where you're like, wait, I think I do know him, because we see each other like peripherally, and you don't want to be like, hey, we just met, and be like, dude, we hung out. We hung out in LA a couple of times.
What?
Yeah, but I'm a huge fan, and it's been so cool to watch your journey and everything, and I'm very excited about this. And I'm going to tell you, as comic to comic, I had a show last night in New York. I have a show tomorrow in Spokane.
Oh, wow.
I should be in Spokane or on my way to Spokane.
Wow.
But I got on the 6 a.m. flight to come here to meet you.
Oh, wow. Tom, I appreciate
that's how
that.
much I like you.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I know you're like your schedule is crazy. It was so funny because the schedule kept changing. And I'm like, I got a schedule too. But seriously though, because I am a fan. And so like this is really cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah. I'm very happy that it finally worked out.
We have an espresso and water.
Yeah. Now, if I hadn't been on the road, I would have baked you bread with my hands. But this is from Lodge Bread in Culver City. It's one of our favorite places. And I will bake you bread.
I like really good baked bread, like bread like this, where it looks like it's been cooked.
Yeah.
Cooked, you know what I'm saying?
It's good.
Yeah.
I think you're going to really like
those
it.
Phones off. And no.
But you are, you're slim. You're tight. You're in shape. What happened?
Got my life together.
Why'd you go and do that?
Got happier.
Oh, man.
You know what's crazy? I was telling other comics that I live a better road life now, which is very interesting for me, because I used to be like out and about and eating craziness. And so like I have so much energy at my shows now because I'd really sleep. I work out maybe like a couple hours for the show. You know, and just have, and then I don't eat the comedy club food no more.
Yeah. What about the after show meal?
You know, so it's funny too. It depends. Like, if I get something earlier, I try to save some of that. So, because also I get a nicer room with it, like a microwave. So.
Yeah.
Or maybe a kitchen. You know, depending on what city we in.
Yeah, someone's in the suites.
Well, you know, it's funny. Depending on what city we in, certain suites ain't like other suites. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you in a small town, that suites is like like 3 bed. They put 3 rooms together. Like, yeah, this is a suite.
Yeah, right, exactly. And they put like one chair. Like, oh, you can entertain entertain people over
in
here.
between the doors.
And maybe you want to have a business meeting.
Like, that's a conference room. Y'all done made this into a suite.
In Dayton. Yeah, but this is pretty great. I really got the sense that you're going through a really positive time in your life. It seems like
man.
It seems like there's been a big shift. Not that you were, but it's a change.
It's a change that had to happen. Like it's interesting because sometimes we're told as comedians we're only gonna be funny if everything is terrible and always bad and this and that, and we have to live this type of lifestyle and this and that.
Or crazy.
Yeah, I'm happy. I was literally editing my last special right now, and I'm like, dang, do I title this the happy special? Because I just look happier.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of my favorite specials because it's really funny and it's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting because I've been looking at like old footage of myself too, of just like when I first started. And it's almost combining energies, right? Because I'll be 45 and I'm a lot more chill than I was in the beginning. I was hype and I wanted to crush every time. Like now I don't know if I even think about it for real. It happens.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm going out here to crush.
Right.
I'm really like, let me just have a good time. And hopefully y'all along for the ride.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I remember in the beginning it was just about crushing.
Yeah.
That's all I thought about.
I think that I go through the same thing. And I don't fault the younger version because you kind of had to be that way to get to where you are now. Like you have to be, you're young and you're energetic, but you're also, pretty aggressive and you're hoping you get to stick around. So you've got to fight really hard and do all the things you got to do. So it's like.
But do you see, this was part of my therapy session. Yes, I go to therapy.
How long have you been going?
Man, it's been a couple years now, and
Okay.
it's consistent, and my therapist is amazing. But that's funny you say that. It's like, but I don't know if you can stay like that.
No.
I see a lot of my friends they're still in that mindset in a crazy way, and it's like you can't do that. Because it doesn't even make sense once you've accomplished things, you've done some things to still sit in this. To carry I'm still competing with young comics.
Yeah.
I can't compete with that hunger. That's just a different.
No.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. But also, you're wiser. I always, and it sounds like an arrogant analogy, but I think all comics that when you kind of developed your craft and you got to a certain age and you've done some things and now you're approaching it a different way, you're working smarter. You're kind of like when Jordan was all of a sudden, people were like, why isn't he running back and forth? It's like, he knows what he's doing now.
Know what he's doing.
He's conserving his energy. And when it's time to really explode, he's going to explode. But he's wiser now. And I really see with my comic friends who've gotten a little older and stayed in the game, they just work smarter. They're not boozing. They're taking care of their life. And they approach their act with a different sense.
We lost a lot of funny people because of the lifestyle.
I know.
And I think that's a quiet thing sometimes we don't talk about as a collective, as comics. I mean, I just did a comedy festival I put together in Chicago.
Yeah.
And one of the panels was just a mental health panel at a comedy festival.
It's great.
And it's great to have that. I think, and it was so... I wish it would have been a bigger turnout, but the comics that were there, though, man, they left just. It was tears in the room. Actually, it was kind of deep. I was surprised that we actually went there, but I did that because I'm like, I so many comedians that want to have these conversations and it's a little embarrassed about it, or we joke around it.
Yeah.
But man, I've lost some really good friends.
I know.
From
Comedians?
Comedians, man.
Who's in your top list of dead comedians? I've got mine.
That I miss. Kevin Barnett, one of my really good friends. I think about him all the time. I've been thinking about him a lot lately, actually. I think more or less kind of being on his journey.
Why now?
Well, first of all, I miss talking to him about my creative stuff.
Right.
You know, you have people you can call where you know have good ideas and you throw ideas. So I really been missing that.
Yeah.
I think I missed that. Our friend group, I don't know if we have recovered from that loss. We're all doing well and doing things, but we were all really tight. And sometimes losses like that, everybody kind of goes in their corner to deal with it in a way.
Yeah.
And so I miss a lot of them, actually. I missed them a lot.
Don't you always think, like, when things happen, like in culturally, like, of what they would have said about it, like,
God.
In their act, like Patrice in New York, it was Patrice and my good friend Greg Giraldo, and I think Greg would have been in such a position now, like he would be the host of the Daily Show. Like he was so smart, and when all of this stuff happens, I was like, oh, I just constantly walk around like, what would Greg say? like what would he be thinking? I
love that you see that too. That's another thing I think I go through with Kevin is that I know spaces where he would have dominated. I'd be like, yo, this dude would be just seeing the success for other people and stuff. Like, oh, this person would have been amazing. Because it's crazy that, like, we think about people like Patrice and even Greg. This would have been a great time.
Yeah.
For that style of comedy.
Yeah.
That honesty. It'd have been funny watching them become the mainstream.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what we've seen happen.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
It would have been really interesting. I think about that a lot.
Yeah,
actually.
They would have matured into the role now of the thoughtful commentator on this stuff and make sense of it all for us. You know,
when I saw D.L. Hughley become that, like, who would have ever thought that he would be this political?
I swear to you, I go to D.L. Hughley for my news.
Yeah.
That's my news source. Before I go to the New York Times, before I go to anything else, I'm like, what is D.L. saying today? What do I have to keep my eye on today? But, thoughtful, smart take on everything.
And it's crazy because this guy was D.L. was the guy. He hosted the first year of Comic View, and all he did was roast people. His whole best of Comic View is just destroying people in the audience.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy, too, because even when I think about that, I'm like, wow, he was a crowd work guy, too.
Yeah.
Who he didn't even blow up from that.
No.
That was just one of his skill sets.
Yeah.
That was a part of being a comic, which is very interesting. It's funny seeing that comedy has been able to break into these different categories.
I know.
And at one time, you just had to know how to do all of that.
Yeah, I know. It's becoming like music now. Like it's really like there's these specific lanes now.
Yeah.
Of all of it. It's great, but I do miss the universality of it. Like you can know somebody that you love, and it's like, how do you guys not know who this is? You know what I mean? They're selling a lot of big things.
Yeah.
How's it changed for you? So your last special was super funny.
Thank you.
And then so where'd you shoot this one?
I shot it in Chicago again.
Okay.
It was the last show of our festival. So my special taping was the closeout show, which is hopefully it was really. I mean, look, and I've been anxious to talk about what this festival was, but it was one of the. I've done a lot in my career. Mm-hmm. One of the greatest accomplishments I've ever pulled off was doing a 7-day comedy festival in Chicago.
Where'd you get the idea? What happened?
My old manager, shout out to Knowledge Beckham, and my partner, he came to LA to visit, and we went to just hang out and just talk. And he was like, yo, I'm thinking about doing a comedy festival. But then he was going to do it like some of these promoters have been doing, where they've been doing like these fake festivals. They call it the festival, but it's just 2 shows.
Yeah. Right.
Because, the Netflix is a joke thing. Promoters can't wait to jump on something that,
That's hot.
And so it was kind of like what he was going to do. And I'm like, no, dude, if you're going to do this, like, do this and let me be a partner. Bring in a comedian to help partner with you, because nobody's ever done that. Nobody's ever really asked us to partner with them. They want to book us.
Right.
But who's asked us to partner with us? So it's like, please let me bring my expertise and let me bring to this festival like everything I've always wanted out of a festival.
That's great. It's so bizarre that that's a new idea. Right?
You know what? It's so funny because I've been having these conversations about even just like, because now I have this big dream. Like after this festival was successful, and it's still, I'm so proud and so happy that we put it all. We had a great team.
How long did it take you to put it all together?
90 days.
What?
That was it.
That's it?
It felt like, let me tell you something, 90 days to put this together.
Uh-huh.
Our first year felt like year 4.
Right.
That's how organized and great it felt.
Jeez.
And it's because
Good
all the
partners?
comedians bought in.
Uh-huh.
We had a great team because Knowledge is who's my business partner, but he's so good at putting teams together because he's a good businessman.
Yeah.
And then like even every ideal I had that seemed kind of crazy or far-fetched, we figured it out. And then we had these we volunteers.
Yeah.
People who just love comedy.
That's great.
Were so great at helping us get all this stuff done.
That's so great.
It was crazy. So
wow. How many comics?
64.
Nice.
64 comedians from all over the country, most of them Chicago, like 70%, 75% Chicago comics, which was great. That's why I wanted to do it there too, because we have the plethora of comedians there. I also, I wanted to do something where honestly, the black comics were in the forefront of it. A lot of these festivals, they kind of usually give us like a few of the little shows and
the urban
shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like I wanted, without saying it, that is what we did. And it just was.
That's great.
It was like doing stuff, we did stuff at the Laugh Factory, but then we had stuff at the Hood. It was and it was all sold out, packed, and
man.
the audience and I've never seen comics it was so much love. It almost made me uncomfortable. How happy everybody was.
Yeah, maybe let's turn down the joy a little.
Come on, why is everybody so happy? And it was people who weren't getting along maybe a week before that. It was beautiful. Everybody was supportive of each other.
And you sold all these shows in 90 days?
90 days.
Jeez.
And then I was able to close out doing my special that I co-directed and produced and, self-financed with
Where'd you do that?
At the DuSable Museum. So the DuSable Museum, which is a black museum in Chicago on the South Side, they also have a theater in there. That was actually one of the first places that let me headline.
Oh, really?
Years ago, yeah. And so it was a full circle moment to do it there. And we did our main shows on the weekend there. My friend Sherry Shepard did her show on
Love
Love.
her. Yeah.
Like she called me and said, whatever you need me to do, I'm coming for free.
Oh, that's great.
So just pay for my makeup artist.
Yeah.
In my hotel. But she was great. She came in, rocked out. It was that
so
thing.
Great.
And so many comedians just showed up along with it was just I can't even describe it.
So what did that do to your head when you're walking out there to do your special? Like after it's one thing to roll into a town or just a night and do your thing, but to have that week, that cresting
and I didn't go up
wave.
at none of the other shows.
No,
I just went on. I went on stage to thank everybody and stuff like that. But I didn't
you're
perform.
feeling this. You're feeling the positivity of it.
It was the most beautiful. I was so inspired by all the other comedians.
Yeah.
It was. Some, you have your brain is like, okay, I want to do something with good intentions, and that was one of the things I said on one of the panels. Is like, I think people think it's weird that you can't make money from doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That you can only just be evil.
I know.
And make a profit. But you can have good intentions and make money.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's been on my mind the last 2 days because Elon Musk is losing his marbles and saying such horrible things. And I'm like, I got to get rid of my Tesla. I'm like, I got to get rid of this guy. I think I have to get rid of it. I loved it so much. I had like one of the first ones in 2015, and I was all in, and it was such great intentions, and it was like beautiful thing. And when he said that stuff with Tucker Carlson, I was like, I'm out. And I really was thinking,
Tom, it's scary right now. It's scary in a way where like, and let's think about it. I am in a beautiful place too, where like, I try not to fall too much into Republican, Democrat because I think they all the same.
Yeah,
to be quite honest with you. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, some people, it's just evil. Like, where's the humanity and stuff?
It's beyond party.
It doesn't make sense.
It's beyond.
It's
party.
beyond party. Yeah. And so, like, I think, it's so funny because I had like an actor that I did a movie with that came out, and he just endorsed Trump, which I'm not surprised. I mean, I knew he would be that. I knew that on set. Like, probably why we didn't get along. But because people, everybody was texting each other like, I can't believe. I'm like, no, I could.
You're like, nah,
this on brand. Yeah,
that tracks.
But it's one of those things where like, I don't care what your reasons is for. I don't like the aggressive meanness about picking somebody.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's like in your face kind of
It's just
attitude.
weird.
Instead of, hey, this choice is going to benefit all of us.
Yes.
That part is disgusting.
But that's why I'm gonna tell you something. I ended up loving John McCain, which is so crazy. If he would have lived long enough to run again, I might have voted for him.
I keep calling. I keep saying we got to get in touch with Romney. What's Romney up to? What's Bush doing? Can he come back?
I mean, seriously, it's very interesting. Like I felt bad about because what's crazy. I think maturity comes with understanding that. It's a game, really, to politicians. They all vacation together, hang out, go have drinks. We're all like,
they mean it.
They're literally having drinks at the club they hang out at.
It's professional wrestling to them.
Yep.
It's a game.
Yeah.
Which really upsets me even more. But back to let's go back to let's get out of this mud. You said the comment that you could actually make money without being evil.
Without being evil, yeah.
It is and that's like the Tesla thing. It was like, well, yeah, I don't have to invest in this guy. There's a lot of other great places that you can have a
sell
positive
electric
thing.
cars.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. But so when you walk out after this festival is just all good intentions and stuff, and then you go out to do your special. Did you do one night? One taping?
Did one show.
One show.
One show.
This is what I want to do. I'm so sick of the 2-show thing. Why not just do one show? It's real.
Most of my specials are my first show.
Yeah.
Most of them are people who are like I don't want to say real comics, but like people who've really been grinding this out a long time. To be quite honest with you, a lot of my last 2 specials, I didn't tour make this the material. I kind of just did it.
Yeah.
Okay. And this one's interesting because I think I could do a part 2 to it. Uh-huh. And I want to do it at a smaller place.
Why? Because thematically, or just you have that much material?
I think now I want to, because, I was talking to Gerard Carmichael about this, because I was telling Gerard, Gerard, you was my inspiration for this next special because I wanted to really dive into some very emotional things. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to, but the place was too big. The laughs was too loud. Yeah. To go too deep. Yeah. Like I wanted to go there, but they were just so hype and happy.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, part 1 is happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Part 2.
They'll kick half of these people out.
Yeah. Like I need a smaller 90, maybe just a 90-person seat place.
Well, he did the Blue Note, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was so beautiful.
So beautiful, so intimate.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you can kind of sit in the thoughts and sit into do I feel like diving into this part about my dad a little deeper? And this and that. And so it's a whole nother group of material that I didn't do on this other one that I think it's so interesting because I never thought about doing a part 2, but now that I'm like self-financed and self-directed, I don't feel like I'm obligated to anybody to do something the way they want me to do it.
Is it an idea of a direction you want to go, or you already have like an idea?
Going through the edited process of this, I'm watching stuff like, I didn't do this. Oh, I didn't do that. Oh, okay.
So you already have it.
It's already there, and it's going to be fun because I think this one is beautiful. It's going to look. The look I went for is making it look like maybe raw, like just an 80s special.
Yeah.
Theatrical special.
Yeah, I love that.
Like. And it's smoky. It's like you can see the smoke in the spotlight. And just,
right. How did you dress?
Oh, so I kind of went sexy on this one.
Yeah, now that you're in shape.
Yeah, I did. I just wore a vest. I had the guns out.
No pants, no just
pants.
A vest.
Pants and just dig out. No, but
I said the special's called Happy.
But I wore some dress pants and some Jodeci boots and a vest.
Nice.
And and that was beautiful too, because
Yeah.
that was me being comfortable in my own skin.
Oh, I would be so uncomfortable to dress like that.
I was so comfortable.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because I would have in the past been very insecure about something
You've
like that.
always been stylish, though. You've always...
Yeah, but it's been... I remember when I did my first sex scene on the show Insecure.
Uh-huh.
And I was like... And I was still kind of insecure about my weight and like, I'm asking, can I wear a tank top? And
yeah.
I don't want to... Do I got to take my shirt all the way off? And,
yeah.
And it's weird. And it's now that I think about it, I'm like, dang, I had a chance to be a sexy guy.
Yeah.
But I wasn't confident.
Mm-hmm. It's just
so
in your
crazy.
head.
It's just
I
in
know.
my head, yeah.
I literally was on stage on Saturday, and I was talking to the audience about how you never really feel that great about yourself. Nobody really feels that great. I said, I don't feel that great right now. I said, I feel fat. I'm having fun, but I feel fat.
Yeah.
And at the end of the show, I was signing books in the lobby, and several people came up and they're like, sincerely, like, you're not fat. You're not fat. And it was like, it was kind of funny, but in another level, it wasn't funny because I always feel fat.
Well,
I was fat as a kid, and I always feel fat.
And that's so funny for me. I didn't gain weight until that's divorce weight. I was always kind of like a
right.
And so when I just happened to start blowing up at the worst.
When you were hitting,
man, I was more depressed than I ever been, and all types of that. But it was like Carmichael show, but all that was happening.
Yeah,
I'm taping stuff while I'm at the saddest I've ever been.
So weird.
It's so weird, right? And so like
weird.
because now it's documented, right? You like, Get Out is one of the biggest movies ever, and one of the most insecure times I felt about myself.
But you were so good,
because
so maybe that emotionally.
Gift always shows up.
Yeah,
comedy helps any very insecure person.
Yeah,
that's what I love about stand-up. Mm-hmm. Stand-up has always bailed me out from maybe going way too far with my depression.
Yeah.
It just made me laugh.
Right.
And then the crazy part is I wasn't even doing material about being big.
Right.
Because in my brain, I still looked a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and so it's just...
But to be emotionally in that raw place, it kind of, I mean, you use whatever you're using at the moment. I'm not saying you couldn't have a great scene now that you're a little more peaceful, but that would inform it. But that time... I'm not mad at it. That's what informed it.
I still was able to do something like... I bring up Get Out. Get Out is still like this gift that keep giving, man. Every time I was listening to a podcast with Jordan Peele and Ryan Coogler, and just for Ryan to like casually mention my name, and it's just like, I'm always gonna be a part of this conversation of this really great movie.
It's so great.
And how many stand-up comics can say that though?
I know.
They've been in an Oscar-winning film.
It's so crazy.
And you was a big part of it. In a dark movie. Your comedic, you bring the comedy to it is what makes that work.
You were so happy to see your face come out and take us out of the worry for a minute, and we're just like, yeah.
Can you imagine? Like, it's as a movie fan, right? I'm a big movie fan.
Yeah.
To have a stamp in movie history where I'm like that, like if you gave the audience a real theater going experience.
Yeah.
I still love going to watch people Get Out in the theater because I like hearing them cheer at the end. Even when they saw it, they still have the same energy.
I love stand-up comedy. I think it's one of the greatest forms that we have, but there's no denying that it doesn't have the lasting power that a film has. And they're going to be playing that film on Turner Classic Movies when you're in a nursing home.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
Yeah.
That's going to keep going to generation after generation. Our sets, as great as they are, they just don't age the same way. It's a strange thing. So, yeah, that is a blessing that you were in that. Man, oh, man.
That's crazy.
So great.
And
you were so good.
Even if we look at it from the stand-up part of the world, because sometimes I have this thought, right? Because I look at like a lot of the stuff I've accomplished, and I'm just, Tom, it was a time where I was like, dang, how am I not in a conversation as like one of these greats or something? And not to say it like that, because I look at like who we consider all this, what my heroes have done. And I'm like, wait a minute now.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to feel it for you.
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of take stock. I'm sure you have young comics be like,
yeah.
They kind of tighten up when they're with you and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, hey. And like they're looking at you the way you looked at other people. And you're like, but I'm not like those other people. But yeah, you kind of are.
Yeah, and it's interesting.
But it's hard to feel it.
Well, just think about it. I know it, and I'm such a fan and nerd it is. That's why I'm like, I did get to a weird place where like, why am I not in the conversations? Right? You know what I mean?
I know.
I
We
done
all
the
do.
specials. I had a sitcom. I did everything that's in the category of what on purpose because of my heroes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I got to get my own show named after me.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to, like, these are like very intentional things I thought about when I was 19 and I started stand-up comedy. I had a list of things based off the heroes. Okay, I got to be in a sketch series. I'm still waiting to host SNL. That's like maybe one of the last random things from young me, my young list. I have a different list now, but young list, that might be the last thing. It's just it's SNL actually, which is
It'll
crazy.
happen. It'll happen. Everything else happened.
And it was weird because it was like random stuff on there, like being on Wildin' Out. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go Wildin' Out, and I'm gonna freestyle my whole episode, which I did, right? And then I never did it again. Right? He was like, "You want to come back?" I was like, "Nah, I'm good," because that's how I want to do SNL. I just want to do it one time. Like, yeah, that's fine.
It seems like it's a real gift to have come from Chicago.
Yes.
I am pretty envious of watching the pride, the roots, the legacy of it. And it, like, just from the outside, it looks really cool. From the inside, it's got to be even deeper.
It's so deep. I mean, like, and it like, it's, I guess just doing this festival too, and it's one of those things where I don't recognize, I don't sit in who I am.
Yeah.
And being around all these comedians, like you said, they're like, oh, hey, Rel. And I was like, oh. And, or they be like, man, you were so cool. Or you don't know they feel that way. That you see them post a picture with you, like, he was so cool.
Right, exactly.
Like, oh, all right.
He was just like a normal guy.
Yeah. And so, like, you're like, dang, I'm a part of the history of the guys who came out of here. Right?
Yeah.
And then also, I've seen history. Like, I look at somebody like a Hannibal Buress is a great example of. I remember when Hannibal was in college and he opened for me.
Yeah.
I was only like 22 headlining this school.
Yeah.
But he was my opener.
Yeah. So great.
Hannibal Buress. And I was like, watching that was one of my favorite people to watch do this. And it was so crazy because at one point, he was doing way better than me. I was still in Chicago, and he's doing like the talk shows, and he'll call me like, "Yo, how do?" I'm like, "Dude, all I did was Comic View. I don't know how to tell you how to do Letterman." That's a different stage, brother. But I just remember that, and then I watched him actually create from him these other comedians that follow him that like kind of came behind that guy.
I know. It's crazy.
That style, and it's like, wow. I watched this guy I saw who had a running car. I said, hey, man, you doing something this summer? You got a car? Cool. Come do these Peoria shows with me.
Yeah. So of the guys that came before you, who is the godfather of it, the grandfather? Is it Bernie?
Well, it's so funny because I could get very specific with Chicago, right? Because you got the guys everybody know, like Bernie Mac, who we all look at as like just, it wasn't just Bernie being great, when he did Def Jam in the movies, but like having a really successful room.
Yeah.
In Chicago. He had that room that everybody,
he was the host.
Every week it was packed and it was crazy and he was doing music and it was stand up and it was like, hearing that a Robert Harris had a room like that in L.A. And a Bernie Mac had a room like that in Chicago.
Yeah.
It was, and just around the country, all these different comics had these different spots.
Yeah.
It was really fascinating. So Bernie starting that room became a big deal to us to have a good, strong following.
God, he was great.
Great. And then you look at people like Damon Williams, Deion Cole, D. Ray Davis, and then for me, a lot of the cats like T.J. Miller and all those guys, we all around the same class.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like before that, it was like Gerard said something very real. Comedy is so new as an art form in a weird way. Out of all the artsy things, like with music and stuff, stand up is still a new
No.
Like we still haven't first a lot of things.
Yeah, and there were a generation, like maybe 2 generations before us, there were no clubs.
No, the comedy clubs didn't even exist. It wasn't a chain of improv.
Right, exactly.
They were just
showing up on shows,
Yeah.
like where there was music and
Yeah.
all the rest of it.
Wow, yeah.
Did you cross with Bernie?
I met Bernie once, and it was like in a quick.
Yeah.
But he was already like kings of comedy movies.
Yeah.
So he would just show up and you just stare at him like,
Yeah.
there go Bernie. Look at that cool. He got a cool cardigan on.
Yeah. I heard he passed when I was leaving a daytime gig in Chicago, and they drove me to the airport. And in the car, the news came out, and it was just being in Chicago and hearing that news was so upsetting. I could only imagine like the depth of
it was
kids that lived and came up in Chicago.
It was heartbreaking.
It was so
in so
sad.
many ways, because I really wanted to like sit down with him one day.
Yeah, I know.
But what I love is in this, I became good friends with his daughter, and that only let me tell you how it happened. It's so funny too, because they was doing a Black Women's Expo in Chicago, and they asked me to host a show. I was like the only dude really in this expo. It's like no men there, just all Black women. Just one random brother. And they had a panel with Bernie's wife and daughter. And I had like time in between the thing I was hosting. I was hosting something. I don't even remember what I was hosting.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm literally in this room with this panel with literally the only guy in there. I'm not even lying to you.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And man, when I tell you, she had so much of her dad's personality. She was
Really?
so funny. She was honest. And then she got to talking about what happened. And I mean, everybody in there. It wasn't a dry eye in the house.
Wow.
And I'm in there like literally the only guy in tears. And I reached out to her. I think I DM'd her on, I guess his ex now, but Twitter at the time. And that's how we became friends. Like, man, that touched my heart to hear everything you saying. And to watch it from this daughter perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like this kid who comes from Bernie and how you could just see her in him. It was just fascinating.
Yeah.
And man, me becoming friends with her became one of the best friendships I could have had, because like even like questions I had about comedy and how I felt about certain things, she had answers from, she was a daddy's girl.
Yeah.
So she knew a lot of the things that he was going through in the stand-up world.
Did you get any perspective of how to be a comic / dad?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. That also.
You have 3, right?
All right, well, 3, and then I got 4 bonus daughters. So now it's a 7. We are
4 bonus.
we are it. We are good. We are a good 7 bunch.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really like, so now it's 5 girls now.
Mm-hmm.
2 boys. Yeah.
And how old's your oldest?
So Dale's 22.
22. That's my
Dale
oldest.
is 21. Brittany's 15. Danny's 14. Judah's 14. Russie, she's 13. Dana, I'm Russie. And Harlem is 7.
So 22, 21.
15, 14, 14, 13, 7.
So the older ones, they saw you.
Well, those are
different versions.
But those are the older ones come into the bonus daughters. So
Okay.
my
They're the
oldest, 15, Brittany and Judah, 15 and 14.
Okay.
They came through the ranks with me.
Right.
They saw everything happen as it happened, and they're so cool. Like they're so cool about everything. Like I like how like I can see the pride in their faces all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but also like how creatively over the years I've been able to lean into them. I let them see stuff ahead of time. Ask questions. This next special is interesting because I kind of go in, because now they teenagers, so now they can have real opinions. Like, what you say that?
Yeah.
You know, for years I could say whatever I want, and they didn't see it. You know?
I know they didn't care.
They didn't care. So it's gonna be really interesting. You're like, Dad, why would you talk about my draws? But it's gonna be really interesting. But I like that they're. Like my son Judah, he's so smart and he loves TV and film. And he's so intelligent about everything. So sometimes I reach out to him just to pick his brain.
Isn't it amazing? Like that you can talk to someone that you made and they have sound advice for like whether something's good or
Great pitches.
Yeah.
Great pitches. Like,
It's
I ain't
crazy,
seen that,
isn't
brother.
it?
That's a good angle.
Yeah.
I love that. And just like, just even with Brit, like just, I love her. She's such a, like my kids are my friends, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because I'm trying to develop that with, my stepdaughters. I want to figure out what that is. That's a whole that's going to be these new emotional moments, because now that all of us are in one house, now it's like real conversations we got to have. They like, well, we don't want to feel like we bothering you.
They're all in the house?
We're all in the house. No, so Brittany, Judah, and Harlem are with their moms.
Okay.
So I get them for the summer.
Okay.
But right now is the 4 girls and wifey. We all in one place.
Got it.
And what's crazy, when they all came in and moved in, I did like 3 movies and then the festival. So I was gone for like a few months.
Right.
So I wasn't there when everybody came in. So now it's like, it's funny watching them adjust to me. Cause they're like, are we bothering him? Because I like sports. Like, yeah. I'm a dad. Like, you got to come holler at me. Like, if you want to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not just going to break out of my, like, I'm just chilling. Then everybody be like, is he mad at us? Like, no, I'm not mad. I'm watching the Bulls game. Like, I'm mad at the Bulls.
Unless you can DM one of these guys.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, them getting used to whatever that is.
Yeah.
My babies that were raised with me,
yeah.
they know my energy and they don't care.
Right.
They know I'm irritated. They still gonna walk in. Dad, I'm like, hey, you don't see how I'm yelling at the TV? Yeah, I know, cool. But anyway, and so getting them, like, it's so funny that we have this conversation, but like tonight is gonna be one of our first family meetings that I want to just put so many things on the table.
An official meeting.
Just an official meeting.
Big
and ask them,
check-in.
what do you guys want out of a stepdad, out of me, like as a dad? As far as that goes, what do you want?
Wow.
Let's have this conversation, because we haven't had it yet.
It's very mature.
I mean, it's good, mature, but that's what I love about where my comedy is going too, because I think it's so funny. We don't know. We only think people relate to certain things, and it's so many other people that's going through this and seeing that, and so it's cool that I can position myself to find the humor in all this.
Yeah.
Which is what I love about comedy.
Oh, it's going to be so, it's just going to keep feeding you 100%.
Man, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did your mom pass?
My mom passed in 2009.
2009.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I was just thinking about her the other day, and because I guess every year, I don't know, the energy changes. There's certain holidays that may feel harder than others.
Yeah. Lately,
in the last few years, Mother's Day been hard.
Oh yeah.
Not necessarily her birthday or any other day. Even just like I don't. It's weird because I don't think about the day she passed a lot. I don't at all. I don't even think about the funeral day. I don't even think about those dates.
Right.
I don't know if I even know the exact dates. I just have a feeling.
Right.
And then, I got one of them aunties. You got one of them black aunties that want to just keep bringing stuff up. Well, today is your mama. She like, okay, Aunt Jenny, I love you. But this is sad. Me and my brother don't even know how to respond. We had to text each other separately. You in this group text with Aunt Jenny?
Yeah, she won't leave us alone.
She's making us sad. We know what day it is. Because, they do all the details. She was on her last breath, and I know what happened.
Leave me alone.
I love you, but I don't want to talk about it. And then we went to the funeral. Leave me alone today.
Get out of here.
But older people do that because when they get older, all they can think about is death, which is so crazy.
I know. Well, it's got to be a weird.
That's weird for them too, because they start losing all these friends.
Everyone around them.
Everyone around.
I know. Every time I call my parents, and they're like, they take a deep breath. They're like. I'm like, oh no. All right, who's going first? Who's in the hospital now? Who's going in? Who didn't come out? I know.
That's real tough. It's like, which is scary. I'm like, damn, am I gonna be like that?
I know.
That's so funny. You hear that? You try to get your story. Yeah. So anyway, I got to deal with
Right, exactly. I had a great show last night. Yeah, but did you hear about Don? Oh no, what happened to Don? And the longer you go, like you're the last one standing. It's weird. They're like. It's everybody around them. It's like,
and you get it too, because now, like, even as you grow in your family, you're like, damn, I'm like heightening who I am in this family now.
Yeah.
I'm a part of decision making.
Right.
And this and that. And
I'm calling a meeting
I'm
tonight.
calling a meeting. We have to figure this out. I got to call my brother to the side. Like, man, we got to help his funeral. This is daddy. But I mean, I guess they ain't daddy. So, what we going to do, man? And that's interesting that me and my brother, my youngest brother, well, I love me some Matt, man. And we just sibling well because we just have these real discussions about things. I'm like, man, when we become those guys?
How old?
Matt is about 40 now, 41. Okay. Dang, that's crazy. And so, like, I was just at his house. He has which that's one of those things, too. Like, when you brought up my mom, and I was just at his house recently, and he just got his pool built, and I'm just proud of him. Yeah. And I'm just like, man, my mom will be like, look at us, man. Yeah. And so, I guess, too, I'm at that age where, like, everything's emotional because I'm the oldest, too. So it's like, mama would be so proud. Yeah. Oh, look at this, man. I'm chilling there. You can have all your accomplishments, but literally to be relaxed at his house made me really happy.
What do you mean?
Like, I just felt so comfortable. I was at his home away from everything, and I felt so relaxing, just comfortable. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I'm sitting in his man cave and just watching. Like, I'm just good. Proud of him. Man. Yeah. So it's like,
well, that says a lot, too, about where your head's at. Yeah. That you're at a place where you're not chasing, you chased all the other stuff. Yeah. And, gave you satisfaction, I'm sure, at certain points and seemed like it, but ultimately it's not really what satisfies you or makes you peaceful.
It's the little stuff, man. Yeah. I remember we were, me and him was shooting hoops at my house, and which is a proud moment because I'm like, dang, dude, you remember we wanted to do this at the park, but we had to be in at a certain time because we didn't know what was going to happen outside because we lived in the hood. Like, and so like trying to be here and I could just cut the lights on the, we could sit here and just shoot free throws for hours. Yeah. And not have to worry about any of the other stuff we had to worry about.
Now it's so Coyotes.
Oh, well, especially if you got the little dogs. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, like, one of the girls got the little dog, and they wanted me to take it outside yesterday. I'm like, I don't have the energy to watch him not get captured by a coyote.
Yeah, right.
So if he got to pee, you got to wait till y'all get back. You know what I mean?
It's funny. It's funny to think that the little dog is like you as a kid being nervous about what's out in the streets. So this little dog's like
my good friend JB Smooth lived like maybe around a corner from me.
Oh, really?
And he was walking with him and his wife. He was walking their dog. Right. They came by at the house.
Does he wear a hat when he walks the dog?
Yes, he does. Yeah, he does actually. He actually wears a hat. He had a good hat on too last time.
Man,
he's a good hat guy.
Oh my God.
I'm like, you can't be walking around in that hat.
I've been on several flights with him, and it's like, how do they let you have 3 hat boxes as your one personal item?
As one person, like the whole. Who got all these hat boxes? Oh, JB Smooth.
It's just because it's JB.
But that's who told me that the Coyotes exist out there. Like I didn't realize it was a thing because his wife had like a taser. I said for the Coyotes. Yeah. She had a golf club. So he walking the dogs with a golf club with a fanny pack with a taser in it for the Coyotes. Yeah. I'm like, Coyotes? And so, because once again, when you from the hood, it'd be new stuff. It's like, wait a minute, so not the gangs. I gotta be worried. I'm more scared. Like, wait a minute,
wild animals,
not the gangster disciples. Right. I'm worried about a coyote.
My life has changed,
and it's scarier for some reason. I don't know what to do with a coyote.
Yeah, this is too new. You've spent your whole life figuring out how to deal with people on the street. This is all new.
It's all new. Wait, a coyote?
How many are there?
That's so funny.
Yeah. We do a thing on this program called an uncomfortable moment. We have my Cracker Jack staff go and do some research on you. And you had such a funny joke. I think it was your last special. Had probably the timing had to be of talking about the Will Smith slap.
Oh yeah.
And such a good funny perspective of the slap and white people's reaction to the slap as opposed to black people's reaction to the slap. And it was really good. But then it not only culturally did you have a funny take on it, it made me think that maybe you and Will are tighter than you thought, or than I thought. And somebody pulled out this photo. Is it true that you were originally going to be cast in Men in Black?
Let me tell you something. I wish I was originally cast in Men in Black. Also, it's funny that he got Men in Black glasses and I got on my regular glasses. So if they do the little thing, I'm gonna forget everything too. How did I get this job?
Maybe that's why you forgot that you were in it.
Hit me with the flash. That would have been great though. Actually, I would have loved to be.
Oh God,
I love to work with Will Smith.
I know.
I feel like, but I would want that, but I just don't want the deep conversations all the time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if you
Like,
can keep them light.
Can we just have a regular conversation? You know, because if you look at life this way, it's like, yeah, but you slap Chris Rock.
Right.
I don't want to hear no deep, inspiring advice until you tell me why you did it.
The split of that of the slap, and then the Cat Williams throwing bombs on Shannon.
Oh man.
You know, I always look at comedy as just comedy of just, you know, but there is a different there's a different brotherhood, I think, in the black comedy scene.
Yeah.
That is that those kind of events, right, seem to like shake stuff up and call into things that I wasn't really a party of.
It shook so much up in the black comic community. It still has. It's still people not talking.
Yeah.
You know, and Cat's interesting because, you know, he just tended to, you know, he's so little to be such a little bully. You know what I mean? He's so little to be a little bully. But he's so funny. So it's when somebody got delivery, they good. They could just. I wish he understood his superpower.
Yeah.
I wish he understood like the same energy he put into all the stuff he said. If he that interview still could have been positive, and it would have did the same numbers because people love to hear him talk.
I know.
And so it's interesting. You just wish people knew their real power sometimes.
Yeah.
And I guess it feels cool to feel like you did this and that, but it's like, you know, I didn't like the way it separated everybody. And then like I ended up doing Club Shay Shay and I had some things to say, and that stirred some things up with other comedians, and you know, it's just weird, man.
It is weird because because comedians always have like a shorthand with each other.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit more of, you know, it's family.
I don't think I hate that it really was nobody business.
Right.
How some of us don't like each other.
That's what was. Well, I gotta say, as a white comic, it was kind of fun to hear because I didn't know you guys didn't like each other.
I know y'all assumed that all of us hung out, go buy, we buy clothes together. Like, no. Even the Kings of Comedy buy their suits together. They all had separate dressing rooms with their suits. What do you wear?
Yeah.
but it's interesting. Like it literally, and it's tough because it spiraled in a way where it's this thing, and it's only I hate that's among black. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do the festival too, because I was trying to hone in. I wanted to hone in some brotherhood. Yeah. And for me, I was waiting on like the guys that came before me to do what I did. I was literally waiting on one of them to be mature. Yeah. And say, let's all have a conversation some type of way.
Yeah. Because it seems like that's almost the older generation was more camped out than in separate camps than. But
it influences that though, because now, you know, people who take sides. Because even when I did the festival, and I think one of our panels was that we talked about some of the stuff. Yeah. And I mean, one of the comics like, man, everything Cat said was real and it was the truth. And I'm like, but it wasn't. But a lot of that wasn't true. And I'm like, damn, but a lot of y'all who taking it in, comics, right, from wherever you at, you're like, but that's Cat, so I'm gonna just, everything he said has to be the truth. Right. When, you know, most of us that's in this business, you're like, nah, he can't put that in his contract, man. Right. He was like number 10 on the call sheet. Right. You can't negotiate that. You're not even a star of the movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make, but I'm like, dang, but common sense ain't common to somebody who's reaching for something. They don't know what the truth is. Right, exactly. And so it was tough because it was, once again, for me, it was a lot of my favorite veteran comics. Yeah. And they're like, dang, they're all like millionaires. which is even more stupid.
I know. You just watch it, and then you're like, as he's going through it, he's dropping names. You can just see like Cedric looking up from his plate, like, wait, me?
Wait, me? I mean,
why me?
I remember I saw Dave Chappelle, and it might have been like the Color Purple premiere? It was one of these movies. He's like, oh, he didn't get us, did he? I was like, not yet, Dave. I'll be there soon. Cat gonna cat.
They keep playing the cat over and over of that Instagram 2024. They're all going down. All these people are going down.
It is interesting too because I think it's funny too, like because everybody now is like he told us about Diddy,
right?
But I'm like, well, he didn't say anything that nobody didn't necessarily know.
Yeah.
But also, real perspective on this time. And I'll leave it alone.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, people who know all this information, which means you had to be, like, every time I hear somebody say, I got approached at a party, and I told them no, and I know not to do this. And I'm like, well, that never happened to me because I never give off that energy. Mm-hmm. I wasn't invited to the weird stuff. Because guess what? I'm not weird. You know what I'm saying? So like,
100%.
I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, even if I've been to it's so funny because everybody like, oh, the celebrities are quiet that went to because Diddy threw a lot of great parties, but it was all of us sudden shocked like the rest of that. What was the freak offs at?
I know.
Like, I only went to the party that had the regular DJs and the food. It was baby oil there.
I thought it was over. I thought it was over at midnight.
I mean, but I think you learn something. Like I think at any party you go to in Hollywood, after a certain time, you just ain't supposed to stick around.
I know. It's like when Entourage was popular, and like my friends from back home say, "Wow, is that what goes on in LA?" I'm like, apparently. I'm in Studio City with a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they're braiding my hair. But I think that's
Halloween
going on.
Horror Night.
yeah. I snuck out into the spot at the Laugh Factory.
It's very interesting that, like, I think about that a lot because family will call me like, "Hey, you okay? What you mean I'm okay? I wasn't at none of this stuff."
That's so funny. I'm not weird.
I'm like, I have one of the most regular rises to fame that you can think of. Yeah. Like nothing was weird. Nobody ever asked me to do anything.
Yeah.
Which is so funny. I was like, I guess I'm not that attractive because ain't nobody asked me to do nothing.
Well, I hope that your festival is one of the things that unites everybody like that because it really is so silly to have like camps. It's not like, this isn't East Coast, West Coast stuff. This is comedians.
It's like comedians, and we all like. It's interesting because it is this thing too. Because I guess that's how long now that comedy has found success. I guess this was going to come, right? It's people that came before us that made some bad decisions,
right,
in their career, and so they made bad decisions. So they're like, well, you made a good decision, but you probably did something crazy, even though you probably just did the right thing.
Yeah.
You might have just been more professional. You might have been like, you know what I mean? So it's a very interesting time with black comics and whatever that is. But at the end of the day, like that's why I did this festival was to bring us together to create opportunities. Yeah. And like year 2, I can't even wait for even more opportunities that I'm going to create. I just don't want to be a person who's just talking about what the industry is doing and I'm not doing something better. I mean, that's one of the reasons why like I've been on this very big run of like apologizing to Tyler Perry because I feel bad about like talking crazy about his movies and saying all this crazy stuff or what his art should be when I don't think any of us should be judging anybody's creativity.
No, I know. I mean, it really comes down to this conversation. I always feel as comics, it's your conversation with your audience. All the rest is noise. Like, he's got his audience and he's making films for them and they are very happy and they're very successful. And then you have your people that you're talking to. And that conversation, it's a blessing that you have people that you can communicate with and have a career back and forth with this fan base. It's a blessing.
There's no one way to do this, Tom.
Right, exactly.
And we're all creative. Like I can't tell somebody what. Honestly, I should aspire to be this guy who's raised enough capital to do what he wants. Yeah,
right, exactly. All the rest is noise and rumor, and it's just like gossip. It's gossip.
It's just gossip. And it's none of my business anyway.
No, exactly. Yeah. I love that you're getting cool voice work because your voice is so distinct and so great. But to see like I mean, just to hear you and Harold the with a purple crayon.
Yeah.
And then you have another one that's coming out.
Oh, Dog Man.
Dogman, right?
God, that's gonna be great.
Yeah, I saw a little clip of that, and it's so cool. Like you should be in the Pixar universe. You should be on speed dial.
I think it's so funny. I'm doing a movie now with Ryan Reynolds and Jason Momoa. It's more of an adult animation, but it's so funny and so crazy.
Oh, for adults?
Yes,
Really?
It's so funny.
Wow.
It's so funny. It's so like.
Can you say what your character is like?
No, I can't, I guess, really. But it's really funny. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, do I tell you the whole movie?
Yeah.
But it's really, I don't know what I can say yet.
Yeah, okay.
But it's really, really, really fun. I literally was just there last week. And
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's great. I think,
it's so funny.
Some people have a voice like that, and you're like, why aren't they should be? And then once it happens, it seems to happen.
I can't wait to see like how families enjoy Dog Man. They just showed it to me, and it's so funny.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so good, and it's so. I think my kids are gonna absolutely look because they love me being irritated because that's what they laugh at now. Like
Yeah.
it's so weird. You know, teenagers are mean. You know what I mean? Like they literally crack up with me being annoyed. Like, we'll be at restaurants, and I'll be like, they're like, here you go. That waitress said something that didn't make sense to them. I beg the difference because it's like I'm really like a black version of Larry David that people don't know that. But it's kind of weird. But well, I'm just always annoyed. I mean, I hear you. You know, it's that.
Yeah.
I've been watching Curb. It was like I've never related to a white man so much in my life. Like I love Larry David. Like,
But it's sobering when your kids call you out on it. I got in an argument with a barista, which I'm low friction. I'm in the world. I just want it to go smooth in and out. I'm not there to. I just want it to go quickly. And this kid was like peppering me with questions. I'm ordering a black coffee, nothing more. And he's peppering me, and I missed the last question because I'm out, you know. And I said, "I'm sorry. What did you say?" And he just like stared at me. He was like, "Hot or iced?" And now I'm under attack. So I'm like, hot. And we walk away with my daughter. And I'm like, what was with that guy? She's like, Dad, he's autistic.
oh,
I'm like, well, I'm old and confused. Why are you taking his side? You know what I mean?
Daddy's autistic. I'm only confused.
Yeah, why aren't you on my side? I'm your father.
Oh, that's funny, yo.
You ever have your kids take pictures of you just around the house?
Oh, I got a bit I do about on this new special about them doing TikToks all through my house, and I don't know where they're propping a phone at. And so the bit is well, it's a true story, but like I went to go check on my daughter's TikToks. I found myself in the background of a bunch of them minding my business. Like I'm in my drawers going through cabinets, and they doing little dances. I'm scratching my ass. Yeah, so yeah, and I hate that too.
It's the worst.
It's so many random pictures of me taking naps or like, sleeping. Or,
or just those angles you hate of yourself, like from the side with your chins and the worst.
Or you leave your phone somewhere, they take like weird selfies.
Yeah, or my daughter renames all the devices under her name.
No, I don't even know how that happened.
I don't either.
To my devices, actually. My headphones,
Yeah,
everything is.
they're all Charlotte's.
Brittany's.
Yeah,
Brittany's AirPods. Like, why? I know I put Dad.
Yeah. Okay, before we go, we also do a thing on this program called a taste test because we like the finer things in life, but we also like junk. And I know you're dialed in, but this is for the Chex Mix people are going crazy, and they've come out with a thing called Muddy Buddies.
It's not just the Chex Mix people. It's everybody's making things that don't make sense. It's like, why is this a flavor?
Yeah, why are the Oreo people making 20,000 of these?
Okay.
Smells weird.
Cookies and cream Chex Mix.
Yeah, I do like I am a fan of the Chex Mix people.
I don't know. Why they not selling the other ones no more?
Yeah, why are you doing this?
Why y'all jumping in the cookies and cream business?
It reminds me of something, but it's not a food.
It tastes like an Oreo cookie, but the Chex flavor still to it.
Did you ever have color forms when you were a kid?
Color forms? No. What's that?
You're too young.
Yeah.
It was a plastic toy. It was like you would peel off little plastic pictures of like cows and stuff, and then you'd put it on a like a background.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was like synthetic plastic, oily, little designs. That's what this tastes like.
That's funny. Yeah, if it fell in some ice cream.
You don't have to take the buddies home, but you do have to take the bread home. This will be good for the meeting.
Yeah. Is it still warm? I like how it looks warm, but I know it's not.
Who cooked for you when you were a kid? Who was the big cook? Who's the most memorable meals?
My grandmother.
Oh, yeah? What was
to
her
this
name?
day, Viola Howard. I call her grandma. Just grandma. But she made the best pot roast.
Oh, yeah.
It took it. Her and my Aunt Joyce, but for the longest, my grandmother. It's still food to this day. Like my wifey, she makes a good chicken and dumplings, the old school way.
Mm-hmm.
And for years, I would eat chicken and dumplings because nobody made it like my grandmother. And I described it to wifey, and she did it.
And she pulled it off?
She pulled it off. So
wow.
that's who chicken and. But man, chicken and dumplings and a good pot roast.
Pot roast.
And she made homemade ice cream.
Homemade ice cream?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So good. But then it's
she just wanted to be the favorite grandparent.
You know, she's interesting because she was like her backstory, we're trying to figure out, it's random having this conversation, but like me and my brother's trying to figure out her history because we have the history of my grandfather and it's like, we're going to have to really track her to really see, even just her funeral program doesn't have enough information.
Oh, really?
So it's like, where did granddad
she
kidnap you? Like, you know what I mean? But it's like, we got to figure out what's your story. Because like, who did you come from?
Yeah, yeah.
Who are you? We only know everything from the Howery side of things. But I don't know her backstory. That was my dad's mom. So it's very interesting.
That is
because,
interesting.
she was a smoker and everything. But when we were born, I think she had forgot about one of us. Might have been me. She's supposed to feed me or put me in the wrong room. And so she used to get drunk and smoke cigarettes. And she stopped doing all that and just became a grandmother.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My mother's the one that told me, like, yeah, your grandmother was, she was pretty dark. But one day she forgot about you somewhere and she stopped everything. Quit smoking, quit drinking.
It scared her, you mean?
Yeah, she was traumatized that she didn't want to, like, not take care of us well.
And
she just became an extra great grandmother.
Wow.
I thought she was always that.
Right.
I mean, I knew she was into something because she used to mess with snuff. I don't know if you remember what that was, but people don't know what snuff is.
No.
But it's like that tobacco that you put. And I was like, what is snuff? Because I didn't know what snuff was. You know, a kid, you just see it like, what's snuff? And then
no one knows
your
that.
brother dare you to try it. They try it, and he's like, why you eat tobacco? I don't know. I thought it was gum. I don't know what I thought snuff was. It looked like Big Chew. It came in the Big Chew thing.
I know what it is, but why is Grandma doing it?
Grandma doing stuff. Like, did she used to do drugs? Like, because now that you think about it, it's like, was that like, tobacco was cocaine.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Back then, before all the other drugs
just keeping it going.
It was like, take some of this snuff.
Well, good luck with the meeting tonight.
I'm excited about the meeting.
I think you're going to do very well.
Yeah, I'm going to be very honest, so we'll see how that goes.
It really seems like you're in a real good place, which is very cool to see. I'm glad I met you at this time in your life. If we had met earlier, you would have been like, Tom doesn't party.
Yeah, what's Tom talking about?
But now you're
I like being just everybody else with dad energy.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like
dad bods and dad energy.
Just up doing dad stuff for no reason. Just checking all the garbage cans and talking crazy. Why they don't know when to just tie this up?
Yeah.
So they're gonna overfill the garbage cans, and then I gotta put the top down. And that's how the little fleas come around. Like, I'll be thinking about they just think I'll be just complaining just to complain.
Right,
but that's gonna be a part of the conversation today.
Yeah.
Is those garbage cans and a wash schedule. Because they wash a lot of clothes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that drives me crazy in that washing machine at 12 midnight.
Yeah. No doing that. And good luck with the Coyotes.
Damn Coyotes. JB Swivel, let me tell you something. Coyotes will get you, man. You better watch them. You better watch them Coyotes, man. Especially you got the little dog. Snatch it up. Them and them eagles. Eagles and them crows. What crows? What other animals is in the valley? Even though it's a crow, I feel like that followed me from West Hollywood to out there. Some random crow that keeps like shitting on my car.
Just
And like full blown, not like regular, like light bird, like
intentional.
Like, come see me, boy. You know what I mean? Like, so what did I do to the crows?
You think you got out of here? This is really great.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, thank you. And when you have something else, when your next big things, which there's going to be plenty, I'd love if we could come back and do it again.
This was such a fun conversation.
Yeah,
Thanks for
very
having
cool.
me.
Got it.